Hey, WheelSnipeSelly here. Welcome back. It is Tuesday, April 4th, and you can see we're on the daily chart, ES June contract. You can see we've had 4 up days in a row, and I was basically waiting to take out the previous day high and then look for displacement lower. I didn't really see that yesterday. I didn't take a trade, but today let's go down to like the 1 hour. And you can see here, we took out buy side and then we displaced. Once we took out 41.47, I was like, yep, so we're basically going lower. I was looking for shorts from that point. And then, well, actually right around 10 o'clock. So 10 o'clock we had news. So I basically watched, this come up, and then as we were coming down to take out the south side, ES had already delivered, but I was actually working on the NASDAQ today, so I'll kind of go down to that in here in a second. But I was looking at the kind of, IC had mentioned it as like the sixth sister, where ES had already taken out lows and NASDAQ hadn't taken out lows yet, so I kind of switched over to NASDAQ and started hunting for shorts. So let me kind of bring this over. This is what I have on my other side of the screen. Let's go to the 15-minute real quick. So you can see we have ES here, and I'll just draw a quick line. This is what I was looking at, and then we'll draw it here. So you can see at 10:15, ES had already taken out this low, and NASDAQ had not taken out the low. So it was the stronger of the two. And then if we look at the Dow, was really weak today. So at 9:30 or 9:15 or 9:45 it had already taken out the low. But so once I saw this, I had switched gears to NASDAQ. So let me go over, and like I said, I'm trading micros right now. So here we are on the NASDAQ micro. So the NQM 2023, the June contract. So just overall today, so we had, I'll put this, I think I might have this line on. But so this was the low that I was looking at, and I may have pointed this one out, but this was the low that I was looking at, and ES had already punched through this, and NASDAQ was kind of waiting. So let's go down to the 5-minute. So I initially saw this. This could have been an aggressive entry. Once we broke this, I didn't really have an entry right away to get this, so I'll show where I tried to enter in. I think on the 2-minute. I think I tried to enter in late, like right around here, but I wasn't filled to write it down to just take out the sell side. So after that, let's go to the 15-minute real quick. So we had displaced lower, and then I was basically waiting for an entry in here. So you can see I entered right here. We have our 1 hour fair value gap, and then we also have our 15-minute right here. So let's go down to the 2-minute. Okay, so my first trade, I entered right here. I think I had my stop right above this high, but we'll see that in the actual trade review. So it came up, and then once it took out this swing low, it didn't really offer an entry. So I think I did 3 micros. I took 2 at this, my take profit 1, and I was actually trying to hold the runner down even lower. I think I was trying to hold it for, I think down here. But anyways, you'll kind of see that trade. And so I took I took my first profit here, and then I let the other my other contract go, and I eventually got stopped out. Basically, I moved my stop to the New York Open, to the midnight price. That's what this blue line is. So I basically put it there. I was like, okay, well, let's see if we come up there. So we ended up coming up, taking out that first trade, which I think I was up maybe like 100. And then I was basically waiting. I still wanted to see this go lower. So we came up. We didn't take out buy side. We had an S&T divergence with ES and Dow. And then so I entered on this 2-minute fair value gap after this short market structure shift. And we were right after the 130. This is what I anticipated was the 130 Judah swing. So we had a 1 hour fair value gap here, and then we traded up into this 15-minute fair value gap with a breaker. I think I got this breaker from the hourly chart. This breaker here went up and then broke it. And then so I had that confluence going. Let's go back to the 2-minute. So I entered here on this 2-minute fair value gap. We kind of chopped around for a little bit. I actually thought about cutting it if it was going to come back up here, and at 13,241 I was going to cut it, even though I had my stop basically at the top of this M15 fair value gap. Wrote it down. I took my first partial here, and then took my second partial from our lunch low. So at that point, I think I was up about 240 for the day, and I felt like I was pretty in tune with how price was trading for the day. So I ended up trying to play the 1515 to 1545 macro, and let's go down to the 30-second. So I was filled here. I was basically waiting to take out. I wanted to take out this buy side because we left it intact after retracing right around 240. And so we came down. We took out that sell side. We made a lower low. We came back up. We traded down into this order block here. I considered this the market structure shift, and I entered basically on I think a 1-minute fair value gap. So I entered here. Actually, I entered on this order block here with these two down close candles, and then I actually on this one I added 2 on accident. I was meaning to put buy stops, and I was buying. I put in limit orders, so that was an order error on my part. And let's go back down to the 30-second. So, I mean, I guess the good news was I was buying on a down close candle, but I should have only had 2 contracts. So I had this volume imbalance, this fair value gap, mean threshold here of this order block, and then we end up coming down. I think I ended up moving my stop up. So we came down. I saw support from this and this fair value gap on the 1-minute. And then I ended up getting stopped out. I ended up moving my stop up to like right at this low. And I was expecting this to just take off, but it came down. So it came down once. It took sell side again. And then I tried to enter once more. It changed the state of delivery once these 3 down close candles here. I entered right here with a stop below here. It took me out again. And then I basically watched my trade pan out. So once it took the sell side again, once we took this, we had a break-in structure here. It traded down into this order block, and then it ripped institutional order flow entry drill, and it could have entered here. And then this was take profit 1, take profit 2. We'll show that in the recording. At that point, I was already 1 trade over and I didn't want to. I basically wasn't able to get in, even though I saw the institutional order flow. Like this just kind of ripped. I didn't take the entry on this. I just saved it for another day. But this was basically my idea that I tried to capture in these two trades here. So overall for the day, I think I was almost break even. It was like -7, like $7. But let's go into the trade reviews. All right, so here we are. Like I said, this was that first trade that I tried to enter on a 1 minute fair value gap just to write it down. So that was my first attempt. I didn't get filled. But that was basically when I noticed that NASDAQ was kind of playing catch up with ES. So I basically flipped. I really haven't traded NASDAQ really at all. So this is kind of like my first day trading it. So here we are. It is, I don't know what time it is. So it is 11:30. And so we have a 15-minute fair value gap. I have a sell limit right above. And you can see I just put my, we're tagged in. And I just put my buy stop right above that 15-minute fair value gap. And so I'm just kind of noting mean threshold of the candle, seeing if price is respecting, noting consequent encroachment of that fair value gap. And we're inside this hourly breaker with that 15-minute fair value gap. So this trade was a little bit longer than I wanted it to be. So it came pretty close to stopping me out. I had it right above, my stop was right above that 15-minute fair value gap. So just kind of waiting. I guess in a perfect world, I could have entered on that consequent encroachment and had my stop higher. But overall, this was kind of a high resistance run here. It took quite a while for it to actually deliver. But so you can see I have my first target's going to be at that 13,206. And then I just noted that ES and the Dow both broke that 1115 low. And then so I have two micros taken there. And then I'm basically letting my last contract ride out and see if I was going to see if I could get. I just kept a runner on, so you can kind of watch this kind of play out. I was watching this on the 5 minute primarily, and you can see I just moved my buy stop down to basically that New York opening price, and was like, if it tags me out here, then it'll tag me out. So it did. It just tagged me out right there. And then so I was still watching after that. So I wanted to see how we reacted off of this, the 1 hour fair value gap with that M15 fair value gap. So I'm noting there's a SMT with ES and the Dow. So I'm framing my trade here. And we were actually getting that 5 minute actually pushed up more than I had expected. So you can see I'm entering right here on this 2 minute fair value gap, which I showed in the analysis. And then so I have my first profit target right at that swing low at 13,207. And then my second take profit was at the low created, I think, right around 1220. So you can see it's kind of chopping around right here right now. So I'm kind of looking at different time frames, and then it finally starts to give me the movement that I wanted to see. So we finally got the movement, and then I'm going to move down my stop loss to right above. I haven't moved it down. Once I take the first profit, then I'm going to move my stop loss down. And then I have my last runner down at 13,184. And we're getting a little bit of a retracement here. I'm going to note this 5 minute fair value gap, consequent encroachment. The trade's still looking good for me right here. and then we finally get the rest of the movement. So, so here we are in the last 30-minute macro, and I'm basically, I want to see to go up and take out buy side. So I entered in, got initial movement, and then it started playing games. So I'm down on the 30-second. I have the volume imbalance. I'm just noting mean threshold of the order block on the 30-second that I was looking at. I have a fair value gap noted. So that was like basically my last line of defense. And then you can see my stop is right at that swing low. So I'm getting some movement up, and I'm thinking that this is going to, finally deliver to my target. And then you can see I moved my stop up and then got stopped out right there. So then we go down and we take out sell side. And at this point I was up like 140, but I let my emotions get the best of me, and I entered in another trade. So I'm just noting here the micro break in structure. So I'm entering in on that fair value gap with the order block. Stop is below the low. And just kind of noting, we went down to mean threshold, that fair value gap, and that's basically 3 PD arrays disrespected. So we were tagged out there. And then on this last, I'll review the actual move that I was hunting with both of these attempts. That's what I was expecting. So once we took out, basically once we cleared out sell side right here, once we moved up there and we went down, we went back down and touched that order block right there, it just ripped. So you can see, I'm going to note the institutional order flow entry drill here, and I'm noting this would have been my first target, and then the 13-215.50 is the ultimate target that I had. So this was the actual move I was looking for. I guess it was a little disheartening that my first 2 entry attempts it wasn't delivered, but that's the market. So you can see that it eventually tagged that. Just noting that we took out sell side, there's an order block, we traded down into it, institutional order flow entry drill right after we took out that short-term buy side, and then we ran up as expected. We'll go into the account review next. All right, so here we are, TopStep Dashboard. We're sitting at 593.42 out of the 3,000. You can see today minus 706. And here's our line for today. So we had we actually had 4 trades. You can see there's more contracts with doing partials. So, but yep, so you guys saw that. And like I said, if you guys want to give if you want to do a free trial, there's a link in my description, or you can get 20% off your first month if you wanted to try and do the TopStep trading combine. Let's go over to our trade log. We're looking at these last 4 entries, and right here we'll highlight these. So here are the entries for today. 1140 was the first trade short. Like I said, we're doing micros until we are able to make back $400. So back to 1,000 total profit. So this first trade, 3 micros, $93 profit. We had it was 20 minutes for the first 2 partials, and then 50 minutes for the partial stop out. There was a 16 handle drawdown. It was close to stop out. And then we have almost basically 2 o'clock short, which this should be PM session. And then we did 2 contracts. This was plus 145.92 27 minutes for the first partial and 60 minutes for the second partial. 5 handle drawdown. And then if we go, so the next one, these both were the macros, the end of the day. So 1520, 1540, 4 and 5 contracts, minus 98, and then minus 147, 17 minutes, 5 minutes, and then 12.75 handle drawdown, and then 17 handle. And it's a little bit different. It's for each handle, it's less on the NASDAQ. So, and then we'll look at our calendar here. So, no trades Thursday, Friday last week. We were minus 1%, 1.02% for the week. And then we were basically up 1.2% overall. And then I didn't take any trades yesterday. And then today, minus 706. And you can see all of our screenshots here. So here's the first trade. Second trade. We got partial 1, partial 2. Let's go back to this. We got partial 1, and then my runner was stopped out. And then this is the end of the day, entry, stop out. And then the last one, entry, stop out. Economic calendar. So tomorrow we have the ADP employment report, 8:15. And then international trade in goods and services, 8:30. PMI composite final, 9:45. And then 10 for the ISM service index. And then on Thursday, we have the jobless claims at 8:30. And then NFP employment situation at 8:30 on Friday. So ICT normally says be done trading by the end of the AM session on Wednesday. I'll be looking to see if there will be any early entries earlier in the day. So like between like 7 to 8:30 Eastern time. For each of the days, I'll be looking to see if there's any, any type of move. I don't think I'll be trading on Thursday and Friday. I'll be watching, but we'll kind of see how that goes. But anyways, we'll just check over here for Forex Factory. It's all pretty much the same. These are the red folder events, 8:15 and 10. And then on Thursday, 8:30. And then Friday, 8:30. So, anyways, thanks for watching. We will check back in when we take our next trade.